Hello and welcome to another virtual forest school. This week I thought, following on from last week, we'd have a go at making paintbrushes. These are some paintbrushes I've made from willow sticks. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you what willow trees look like. And we've got here 3 different types of willow branch that I've taken. So this one is a white willow or weeping willow. You often see these in gardens. They hang down like this. Quite a yellowy branch, long, thin leaves, quite a bright green colour. So that's white willow. This one's crack willow. The leaves look quite similar, slightly darker bark on the twigs, and they're a sort of a bluer colour to the leaf, and it's sort of a light colour underneath and on top. But the shape is very similar, so it doesn't matter whether it's crack willow or weeping or white willow, as long as it's a willow. This one is grey willow. The leaves are quite a lot different, quite round compared to the other ones. This is the one that we get most often in the woods. So we're going to make a paintbrush from any one of those sticks. I'm going to use the grey willow. So first of all, I'm going to cut a piece of the twig. So we'll use a pair of secateurs, nice clean clip there, and think about how long you want a paintbrush to be, including the bristles, about like that, clip. So this is going to be our paintbrush, and I am going to use a knife for the next bit. So remember, use it really safely, and we're just going to lay it on the end. This bit's going to be the brush, and this bit's going to be the handle. So I'm going to just press down where the brush will become joins the handle, and I'm going to roll the stick along whilst pushing down, just to make a little groove, go backwards and forwards all the way around. And then very carefully I'm just going to remove the bark from what will become the brush piece. Now this is the fun bit. You're going to chew this. So it's probably worth just making sure that the bark is all nice and clean. This bit's obviously clean because we've just taken the bark off. Just make sure this bit's clean as well. We're just going to chew this now. So we're going to put this in our mouth, let the saliva do its thing for a couple of minutes, and then chew on it on our back molars really gently, because what we don't want to do is snap all those fibres that are in there. We want to just chew it gently and just break them all down so that they all become individual fibres. You do sometimes find that 1 or 2 will break off in your mouth, which is not particularly pleasant. You just take them out, obviously. Important thing to realise though is that willow's not going to hurt you. As long as we've got a willow tree, it's not going to cause you any problems. So do make sure you've got a willow tree before you start doing this. So I'm not going to chew away on this while you watch for 20 minutes. I'm going to show you one I prepared earlier. So this one I've chewed on. You can see that all those bristles on the end there, which are look just like a brush, paintbrush bristles, are all fairly fine and all separated there. And what we can do then is we can use a secateurs or maybe a pair of scissors just to trim them so that they're all, so they look nice really, so they sort of ideally come to a point at the top. So it depends how many bristles you've got, but you're looking to try and get them into a smooth brush shape like that, and then you can have a go at painting with it. So here we are, I'm painting away, and I've got a few different colours that I've collected from crushing up a few different stones and put those into my palette there. And I'm using honey as the base for the paint, mixing up with a bit of water, and then choosing each of the colours. Got a nice yellowy colour and a nice reddy brown and a darker brown for the back. So here we are, what might look a bit like a cave painting, using original paints made from pigments like cave people might have used, and a brush that they also might have used. Happy painting everyone! See what you can do and send us your pictures. Thanks, bye!
Hello Forest Questers, and welcome back to another weekend idea of things that you can do in your garden. Today we're going to use tools to make our own geoboard. And all we need to do that is a lump of wood. It might be a bit of an old plank or a bit of old decking, bit of a tree stump that we've got lying around. Anything that you've got that you think might be useful. You need that. You need some small nails and you need a hammer. And it's very, very easy to make. I know that you've all used hammers and nails before. The only thing to remember is be very, very careful, because when you're hitting the nail into the wood, you don't want to be hitting your fingers. Now, for those of you who don't know, a geoboard is a bit of wood with nails in it. And my nails are in straight rows to make a kind of rectangle shape. And once you've got your nails into the board, you can use this to make geometrical shapes using elastic bands. So I have a selection here and I'm going to put them on to make, let's have a look. I can make a triangle. I could make a rectangle. And I can make squares. You can make all kinds of shapes, regular and irregular ones. Just experiment and have a bit of fun with it. Now, to make one of these, you get your piece of wood. I'm going to do a circular one this time. You get your nails, and I'm going to map out or think out where I want the nails to go, and I'm going to stick with a square shape. Now, it might be easier for you if you get a felt pen and you mark where you want the nails to go, but I'm just going to do it as it is. So very carefully on a hard surface, a table or the floor, I'm going to get my nail, hit it carefully into the wood. I don't have to hit it too far, but I want to make sure that it's not wobbly. And keep going. Oops. If you knock it sideways, sort it out, knock it straight in again. I'm going to do this, I think, 3 by 3 this time, a smaller one. So there we go. That one's a bit smaller. I've done rows of 3 to make my square. You could, if you wanted to, experiment, perhaps do a circular pattern of nails, a bit like the shape on a snail's shell, and then make patterns with the elastic bands afterwards. This time I'm going to do a pattern instead of a shape. I'm going to do 2 greens, 2 yellows, oh, a bit big, and another, let's put, oops, a red one down the middle. And you can make any shapes you like. Let's make a funny shape there. It's just fun to explore and experiment. And when you've finished making your patterns, take them all off again and pass it over to somebody else to have a go. I think to finish that one off, I'm going to do a row of nails around the outside, just for fun. So there you go, I've got nails all the way around the outside, done a pattern in the middle, and then I'm going to use my elastic bands around the outside to add to my picture. There you go. Now, a different idea that you could do is on your piece of wood, you could draw a picture of a flower or a tree or an animal, then hammer in the nails over your picture and use string to wrap around the nails to make the picture come alive. I'd love to see that if you managed to have a go. Now, one other idea I had, using nails and wood, I found an old plank. I found some very, very big nails, which I've hammered in at equal distances. And this time around, I'm using it as a weaving loom. I've tied on my wool to one end, and I'm just going in and out of the nails, wrap it round, in and out, like this, to make, it's kind of like the willow fences we've made in the forest. It's the same technique. You could keep that if you wanted. You could try to peel it off. I'm not quite sure what will happen there. Be interesting to try it out. Or when you've finished, unravel it all, wrap the wool back up and have a go with another colour, or with ribbons, or with bits of material or things that you find lying around in your garden. The main thing is explore, experiment, and just see what you can come up with yourselves. I hope you have fun with that. Remember to be careful with the hammer and nails, don't want any accidents. And if you have some success or if you have fun, I'd love to see a picture, so please send to me. See you next week. Bye.